Hello, and welcome to Viking Knit Bracelet Video 3. In this video, we'll be finishing off our chain with end caps, and we'll attach a toggle clasp. So let's grab our safety glasses and let's go! Here's a list of the tools and materials we will be using. A flex shaft or Dremel tool, a tiny round burr, sanding sticks 320, 400, and 600, 0.8 millimeter wide drill bits, a wax pencil or felt tip marker, round nose pliers, we use that for forming, chain nose pliers, flat nose pliers, wire snips, the hokey pokey, and a small flat file. Now for the materials, we will need several 4 to 5 millimeter outside diameter 20 gauge jump rings, 1.5 inches of 20 gauge or 0.8 millimeter wire, 3/8 of an inch of 4 millimeter wide Rollo chain, a bullet, hook, and eye set 4 millimeter to 5 millimeters in diameter, a toggle clasp set. All of these materials are easily found at your local craft store, or you can purchase the end caps kit on our website. It contains enough materials to finish 3 projects. After you've passed your Viking knit chain through the draw plate, it'll stretch and give you extra chain. Every time we pass it through a smaller hole, it gets stretched a little bit, it gets more consistent. You want to pull it through at least 2 times. Getting nice and even. One more time. Now comes the time we measure it for the intended recipient of our lovely work of art. Generally, the average final length of a bracelet is 8 to 8.5 inches for men and 7 to 7.5 inches for women. You also have to subtract 1.25 inch to allow for the end caps and toggle clasps. Cut the ends, separate, and remove the loose pieces. Grab the hokey pokey and gather at least 3 of the loops, line them up next to each other in a row. Do the same procedure with the other end. Now we will make what's referred to as an up eye. Take the round nose pliers in one hand and your 20 gauge wire in the other. Form a letter P with the round nose. This is done by squeezing the end of the wrist and rolling forward. Don't make it too large because it has to be small enough to fit inside the bullet and hook eye set. Release the pliers, crimp it backwards at the point where the ends meet the wire. You should have a configuration that looks like this. Tweak it until there's almost no gap between the end and the wire. Grab the chain nose pliers and open up the up eye sideways. Slip the end of the up eye into a row of loops in the chain and close it. Do the same for the other end and set the chain aside. Now we have to modify the bullet and hook end eye set. Take the wire cutters and cut off the hook. Then remove the loop on the other. File each finding with a small flat file and remove the burrs. Then, grab the 360 grit sanding stick and remove any file marks on the end caps. After using the sanding sticks, eyeball the very top center of each end cap. You can mark it with a wax pencil or felt tip. Insert the small round burr and grind a small depression on the mark. Remove the ball burr and insert the 0.8 mm drill bit and carefully drill completely through both end caps. Now, thread the end wires on the chain through the end cap. You might have to crush the ends of the chain and gently twist to position the end caps in place. It's important that they're tight, and the up eye is shoved inside the end cap as tightly as possible. Hold the chain and end cap in one hand. Take the round nose pliers and very gently place the jaws on the very tip of the end cap wire. Do not squeeze the round nose too tightly or you will kink the metal and cause a weak or brittle spot. Take the wire cutter and snip the end at the junction where the two ends meet. This makes a teardrop formation. Imagine for a second that this teardrop is a clock. 6 o'clock is on the bottom pointing tip and 12 o'clock is on the rounded top. Take your chain nose pliers and clamp and squeeze the teardrop loop at the 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock position. Bend the loop so it's in line and centered with the bracelet. This technique causes the least amount of stress due to work hardening. Repeat these steps for the other side, and now we're ready to attach the female end of the toggle clasp. Open up the teardrop loop sideways and slip in the female toggle. For the male end, we first need to attach about 3/8 or 10 millimeters of Rollo chain with a jump ring. When opening jump rings, it's best to open them sideways with 2 flat-jawed pliers. Never use a round nose pliers for opening jump rings. The round nose surface will put a notch in the jump ring and cause a weak spot that can break later. Notice also that I'm just kind of hanging the components on that open jump ring. Let gravity do the work. It's the easiest thing rather than to try and use both fingers. And according to my measurements, I had to cut off just a little bit of Rollo chain there. And then I'm going to reattach it, the male end anyway, with just another jump ring. Once again, using a flat point of the chain nose pliers at 2 points, opening it up with another flat pair of pliers, hang the male end on, hang the roller chain on, and close her up. You can make fine adjustments by varying the length of the Rollo chain. And there you have it. Your friends will ask where you bought it, and you can tell them, I made it myself. Try not to toggle. Notice that you have to collapse it. That's where the Rollo chain comes in handy. Very reliable clasp. Now give it a try. And there you go. Perfect fit. This is Kerry Kilmer of Crown Trout Jewelers, asking that you please wear safety glasses. After all, we don't want to poke out any eyes.